Aotearoa, and welcome to Monday's Economy Watch, where we follow the economic events and trends that affect Aotearoa. I'm David Chaston, and this is the international edition from interest.co.nz, and today we lead with news that the Strait of Hormuz is still essentially shut, with Trump's war on Iran far from resolved. The claims of ceasefires merely are propaganda exercises. Rolling skirmishes mean no shipping can get insurance, despite offers of safe passage. No one respects anyone in the region where trust has evaporated. Locally this week, the big data insights will come from the RBNZ's survey of inflation expectations on Wednesday, migration and travel activity data on Thursday, and a first look at inflation on Friday via Stats New Zealand's selected price tracking. We'll also get the factory PMI on Friday. In Australia, the key events will be the federal budget on Tuesday, preceded by Commbank's profit result. There'll also be consumer and business sentiment surveys out this week. In the US, it'll be all about their April CPI and PPI, along with updates for retail sales and industrial production. In India, they'll also release CPI data. From Japan, look out for household spending and PPI data too, and machine tool order updates. In China, we're expecting April updates for CPI, PPI, and new yuan loan data. Over the weekend, China released April export data, and it was strong. While the US is turning inward, China is seizing the opportunities of their mistake. China's exports rose 14% in April to a record high, picking up from March's 2.5% growth, despite the disruption from Trump's Gulf War. And China's imports surged 25% on the same year-on-year basis, a second straight monthly record and confirming resilient domestic demand. It's all very impressive. China's exports to us were up only 3.8% from a year ago, but their imports from us were up 14.5%. China's exports to Australia were up 30%, and their imports were up 20%, but that still left Australia with a very large surplus to China. China's exports to the US, though, were down 10.4%, and their imports down a similar 10.2%. They seem to have reduced their reliance on goods from the US to now just 9.8% of their total imports. No wonder that US exports are faltering. Over the weekend, the official data from the US showed they added 115,000 payroll jobs in April at the headline level, above expectations of a 62,000 gain and following an 185,000 increase in March. It was the first back-to-back monthly gain in nearly a year, and on an actual payroll basis, it was stronger again. Their jobless rate was stable at 4.3%. But we should remember that all this data comes from an agency where Trump fired its head because he didn't like the results, and this latest data is under new management. An independent professional review has confirmed that there are distortions growing from this agency. Employment rose in healthcare, logistics, and the retail trade, while it fell in manufacturing and government sectors. But if you include those not in payroll employment, that is the self-employed, there was no change on an actual basis and a fall of 226,000 on a seasonally adjusted basis. Their underclass is really struggling. And you can see that from the latest University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment Survey for May, which fell again to a record low. The fall from April wasn't large, coming in at a scant 1.6 index points below April's reading, but it was comparable to the pandemic trough reached in June 2022. Year-ahead inflation expectations are for 4.5%, a touch less than in April. In Canada, their employment fell 18,000 in April, but more people entered their job market, raising their jobless rate to 6.9%. In India, banks are lending freely, with loan growth up 16% from a year ago. For all its growth narrative, India's stock exchanges are reporting serious 2026 declines, unlike most other global markets. The US Treasury 10-year yield is now just on 4.36%, unchanged from this time Saturday, down 2 basis points for the week. And the price of gold will start today down $9 at $4,714 an ounce, but up $114 for the week. American oil prices are little changed at just under $95.50 a barrel, down $7 for the week, while the international Brent price is holding at just at $101 a barrel, down $7.50 for the week. And the Kiwi dollar is up 10 basis points from Saturday at just on 59.7 US cents, up 70 basis points for the week though. against the Aussie were unchanged at 82.3 Australian cents. Against the euro were also unchanged at just on 50.6 euro cents. That all means our trade-weighted index starts today at just under 62.9, which is up 10 basis points from Saturday, but up 40 basis points for the week. And the Bitcoin price starts today at $81,392 and up 1.6% from Saturday. But volatility of the past 24 hours has been very low, at just on plus or minus 0.6%. You can get more news affecting the economy in New Zealand from interest.co.nz. Kia ora, I'm David Chaston. We'll do this again tomorrow.